Hello children, welcome to online classes. Today we will discuss objective questions from electrochemistry. First one, 1 gram metal of M plus 3 was discharged by passage of 1.81 10 power 23 electrons. What is the atomic mass of the metal? 1 gram of metal was discharged by passing 1.81 10 power 23 electrons. What is the atomic mass of the metal? So mass of the metal is given, number of electrons passed is given. We know the valency also. We require the atomic mass. Now we know that mass deposited when you pass 1 mole of electrons is equal to its equivalent mass. Now here in this question, when they are passing 1.81 10 power 23 electrons, 1 gram was deposited. Therefore, if you pass 1 mole of electrons, that is 6.023 10 power 23 electrons, how many grams will be deposited? So 6.023 into 1 into 10 to the power of 23 into 1 by 1.81 into 10 power 23. This value comes to 3.3. So 3.3 grams is deposited when we pass 1 mole of electrons. Implies 3.3 itself is the equivalent mass of the metal. Now equivalent mass is equal to atomic mass by valency. It is atomic mass by valency. We require atomic mass now. So atomic mass is equal to equivalent mass 3.3, which you got here, into valency, that is 3 we have. So into 3, the value comes to 10.03. So 10.03 is not there, implies none of this is the answer now. So the point here is, when you pass 1 mole of electrons, the mass deposited will be equal to its equivalent mass. Then second one. So answer is none of these here. The standard EMF of the cell in which MnO4 minus plus 5 Fe plus 2 plus 8H plus react gives rise to Mn plus 2, 5 Fe plus 3 and 4H2O. Occurs is 0.59 at 25 degrees Celsius. The equilibrium constant for the given reaction approximately. So they have given us the value of E0 for the reaction, asking us what is the value of equilibrium constant. What is the value of equilibrium constant? So equilibrium constant is given by, that is E0 will be equal to 0.059 by n into log of k. In this question, value of n, number of electron transfer, will be equal to 5. M plus 7 becomes plus 2. Total number of electrons transfer is equal to 5. So value of n is equal to 5 for us. E0 is given as 0.59. We need to find out log k. So therefore, value of E0 0.59 is equal to 0.059 by n is equal to 5 here into log k we have. Into log k. Therefore, log k is equal to, log k will be equal to 0.59 into 5 by 0.059. This goes to 50. It comes to 50. Log k is equal to 50. Log k is equal to 50 means answer must be 10 to the power of 50 then. So log k comes to 50 upon calculations here. Therefore, k is a antilog of 50 will be 10 to the power of 50. Approximately 10 to the power of 50. Option C. Then the equilibrium constant value Kf for the reaction. This we need to find out equilibrium constant. The given reactions Zn plus 2 electrons giving rise to Zn solid substance. And Zn OH taken 4 times, means this one plus electrons. So both the values are reduction potential values only because addition of 2 electrons. Among these two, higher SRP is cathode. Among these two, higher SRP will be zinc. This value is higher for us. So higher value, higher SRP. So this is nothing but cathode for us. And lower SRP acts as anode then. And for E of the electrode will be equal to, means E of the entire cell will be equal to E of cathode minus E of anode then now. That gives E of the reaction first. So E of the reaction, that is E cell, is equal to E of cathode minus E of anode, which is equal to minus 0.76 minus of minus 1.36 is given to us. It comes to 0.6. So 0.6 is the E of the cell. They are asking us equilibrium constant. Now E is equal to 0.059 by N into log of K. Log K. Now value of E which we found out at 0.6 we got is equal to 0.059 by number of electron transfer is equal to 2 from the reaction given to us, 2 into log of K now. If we have approximated this as 0.06, we get 0.03 here now. So therefore, log of K is equal to 0.6 by 0.03. On cancellation of this one, 0.03 will come. And this comes to 20. Therefore, log K is equal to 20. K will be antilog of 20, which is equal to 10 to the power of 20. So answer is 10 power 20. So we found out the E of cell, and E is equal to 0.059 by N into log K. Value of N we found it by observing the equation itself. 2 electron transfer is taking place. So finally we found the value of K as 10 to the power of 20. So option is C in this one. Option is C. Then next one. Specific conductance of saturated solution of AgBr, silver bromide, is K, so many Siemens per centimeter. The limiting molar conductivity of Ag plus and Br minus are X and then Y respectively. Solubility of AgBr in grams per liter is asking us solubility. They gave us limiting molar conductances of Ag plus and then Br minus. They gave us specific conductance of AgBr. Applying Kohlrausch law, we can say that the total conductance will be equal to sum of the conductances of individual ions. That is, lambda naught molar of AgBr will be equal to lambda naught of Ag plus lambda naught of Br minus. And the values are given as X plus Y. So therefore X plus Y, the summation of those two. Now, lambda naught molar is equal to, it is K into 1000 by molarity. The kappa K into 1000 by molarity. This value is found to be X plus Y. So X plus Y is equal to the kappa into 1000 by molarity. Therefore, molarity is equal to, so we found out molarity as K into 1000, kappa into 1000 by X plus Y. This is the molarity, so many moles per liter. But question asked is grams per liter how much? So moles per liter must be multiplied into molar mass, which is given to us. Therefore, kappa into 1000 by X plus Y multiplied with its molar mass 188, we get the solubility in grams per liter. So answer is option C, because X plus Y is there in option. So K into 1000 into 188 by X plus Y we have. So we found out lambda molar, applying Kohlrausch law, that is lambda naught of Ag plus lambda naught of Br minus. We got lambda naught of the salt solution. equated to K into 1000 by molarity. We got molarity, moles per liter. Then we multiplied into 188 to get the solubility in grams per liter. Then, so answer found to be C option. Next one. In Hall's process, aluminum is produced by electrolysis of molten Al2O3 by following reactions. How many seconds would it take to produce enough aluminum by Hall's process to make a case of 24 cans aluminum soft drinks? If each can, it is not case, then each can uses 5 grams of aluminum, a current of 9650 amperes is employed and current efficiency is only 90%. So how much aluminum is required to prepare 24 cans of aluminum soft drinks if each can uses 5 grams and current strength is 9650 amperes is being passed and current efficiency is 90%. First we'll find out totally how much mass of aluminum we require. Then we apply Faraday's laws. Now total mass required is equal to total mass required will be equal to, so 24 cans, each of mass 5 grams, it comes to 120. So totally you require 120 grams of aluminum. Now 1 gram equivalent requires 1 Faraday of charge, means requires 96,500 coulombs of charge. And 1 gram equivalent of aluminum means 9 grams. That implies 9 grams of Al requires 96500 coulombs. We require here 120 grams of aluminum. How much charge is required for this? So on cross multiplication, so you'll be getting 120 into 96500 by 9. So many coulombs of charge is required now. But current efficiency is only 90%. So therefore charge which you actually require because of 90% efficiency, charge required will be equal to 120 into 96500 into 100 by 90 into 9. So this will be actual amount of current that is required. Now the current strength Q is equal to I into T. So Q is equal to I into T. Now we require the time that is being time they are asking us. So therefore time T will be equal to Q into I. So time is given as Q by I, which is equal to Q is 120 into 96,500 into 100 by 90 into 9 into value of I is given as 9650. Simplifying this, we get the answer 147.7 grams. 0.7. So many seconds you have. This much time is required altogether. So let us see the option 147.7. So it is there as 148. We can go for that answer. So in this problem, we found out the total mass of aluminum required, multiplying that mass of each can into total number of cans which you require. And then 1 gram equivalent requires 96,500 coulombs. So 9 grams requires same 96,500 coulombs. We require 120. How much charge we require, we found out now. This amount of charge required now. But since current efficiency is only 90%, the actual charge required will be this current required into 100 by 90. This is actual amount of current required now. Now Q is equal to I into T. Q is equal to I into T and we require T. T is equal to Q by I. Q is a charge which you found out here by I. Current strength is given as 9650. 9650 is the current strength given. So finally you are going to get, simplifying, we get the answer 147.7 and it came to B option. Next one. How much potential of hydrogen electrode will change when its solution is initially at pH 0 is neutralized to pH 7? How much potential of hydrogen electrode will change when its solution initially pH 0 is neutralized to pH 7? Now pH 0, this implies hydrogen ion concentration is equal to 1 molar, and pH 7, this implies hydrogen ion concentration is equal to 10 to the power of minus 7. Now for pH 0, applying Nernst equation, E is equal to E naught plus 0.059 by 1 into, it is log of H plus. Now H plus is 1. When you apply log 1 is 0. Everything becomes 0. Therefore this value is equal to 0. Now in the case of pH 7, E will be equal to E naught plus 0.059 by 1 into, it is log of 10 to the power of minus 7. Log of 10 power minus 7. So E naught will be 0 for hydrogen electrode, which will be equal to E is equal to 0.059. Log of 10 power minus 7 will be equal to minus 7 log 10. Log 10 is 1. So minus 7 into 0.09. The value comes out to be minus 0.413. Means the value decreases by 413 then. Initial value is equal to 0. Now the value is equal to 0.413. Means value decreases by 0.413. So decreased by 0.41. So answer is option D. Next, the SRP of Fe plus 3Fe is minus 0.036, and the potential of Fe plus 2Fe is minus 0.439. The standard potential of Fe plus 3 to Fe is how much? This can be done by constructing Latimer diagram. So the Latimer diagram consisting of these three ions. So Fe plus 3 changing into Fe plus 2, then becoming Fe. So here Fe plus 3 to Fe. So delta G will be additive in nature, but potentials are not additive in nature. So if you take this as say delta G1, this as say delta G2, this as say delta G3, we can write delta G1 is equal to delta G2 plus delta G3. And delta G is given as delta G is equal to minus NFE. Delta G is equal to minus NFE. So first one delta G1, this value now. In this case, number of electron is equal to 3 because Fe plus 3 to Fe we have. Here the value of N will be equal to 3 now. So 3 into minus sign is there in the formula itself, minus 3 into Fe into. So potential from here from plus 3 to plus 3 to plus, this is the potential given to us. So minus 0.036 we have is equal to delta G2. This potential we have to find out here. So this is a E2 unknown to us now. Minus electron is 1 into F into unknown potential. Let us keep it as E itself there. Again minus delta G3. Number of electrons transfer is 2 here. 2 into F into potential of Fe plus 2 to Fe is given as minus 439. So we can change sign throughout. So change sign throughout here. We can cancel value of F also throughout here. Cancelling F throughout now. So we are left with here 3 into minus 0.036 here, and E here 2 into minus 0.439 we have. So means E is equal to now, E will be equal to minus multiplying these two, 3 and then 0.036 minus 0.108 multiplying these two we have. And this goes to other side, becomes plus sign then now. So plus 0.878, which comes to nearly 0.77. So answer is here 0.77. So option is C here. So we applied here Latimer diagram. That is, potentials are not additive, but delta G will be additive. So therefore, applying Latimer diagram, we can take overall delta G value from Fe plus to Fe. Delta G1 can be taken as delta G2 plus delta G3 here. And delta G will be given as minus NFE, where N stands for number of electrons in that particular process, and E naught value given to us. So answer is 0.77. So C is the option. Then view the signs. Delta reactions, G naught values are given to us. Which oxidation state is more the characteristic for lead and tin? If we take the first reaction here, delta G is negative. Delta G negative means process spontaneous. So here you see plus 4 state here becoming plus 2 state. So plus 4 to plus 2 spontaneous means lead will be having stable plus 2 state here now. And here it is positive value, means non-spontaneous reaction. So plus 4 will not become plus 2 in this case, means plus 4 itself is stable for tin. So our lead plus 2 stable, tin plus 4 stable. So we can say plus 2 and plus 4. Option is D. D is the answer for this. Next one. Given the following reduction potentials, Mn plus 2 reduction potential minus 1.18, water reduction potential minus 0.83, iodine reduction potential plus 0.53, oxygen reduction potential plus 1.23. Aqueous solution of MnI2 is electrolyzed. What are the products obtained? Now let us write the basic equation first. Mi2 first of all undergoes ionization. It forms M plus 2. Mn is given to us. So MnI2 giving rise to Mn plus 2 plus 2I minus. Let us take first of all at cathode. Say at cathode. At cathode, whichever ion has higher reduction potential gets reduced first. So among Mn plus 2 and H2O, among these two, H2O is having higher reduction potential. Therefore, H2O gets reduced. When you observe the values of SRP of Mn plus 2 and water is having higher SRP value. Therefore, at cathode, reduction of water takes place. That is, at cathode, H2O gets reduced. So H2O plus electron getting reduced means it forms H2 liberation takes place here, plus OH minus ions. So H2 liberation, that is to say, cathode, water is getting reduced, liberation of H2. If you take at anode, we have to see the anions now. Anion is I minus. Either I minus must be oxidized or water must be oxidized. Whichever has a higher oxidation potential, that get oxidized. When you observe the value of I minus and then water, I minus is having higher oxidation potential. Therefore, I minus gets oxidized at anode. Means 2I minus giving rise to I2 plus 2 electrons here. So therefore, iodine is liberating at anode and hydrogen at cathode. So let us see the option here. Option is A. Let us go back to the question once again. So option A is H2 and then I2. Excuse me. Next one. Given dissociation constant of acetic acid, means Ka of acetic acid is given to us, and its molar conductivity at infinite dilution is 390.7 ohm inverse centimeter square per mole. The molar conductivity of 0.01 molar acetic acid solution will be. Asking us lambda molar conductivity is being asked. So we need to find out molar conductivity of solution. They gave us Ka value, dissociation constant of acetic acid. They also give us the lambda naught value is given to us. 390 is given as lambda naught molar. So lambda naught is there, Ka is there, lambda molar we need to find out. Now we know that Ka is equal to C alpha square, and therefore alpha is equal to square root of Ka by C, which is equal to square root of Ka value is 1.8 10 to the power of minus 5 by value of C 0.01 we have, and alpha is also equal to lambda molar by lambda naught molar. We require lambda molar, so lambda molar is equal to alpha into lambda naught molar we have, which implies square root of simplification of this one, it will be 18 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into lambda naught molar, which is given as 390. So therefore finally it comes to, that is 4.2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 into 390.7. On simplification excuse me, on simplification the value comes to 16.57. 16.57. So the answer must be B. B is the answer. So they gave us a value of Ka. They gave us lambda naught. You need to find out lambda molar. They gave the concentration also. So therefore we know that alpha is equal to alpha. We know the formula alpha is equal to lambda molar by lambda naught molar we have. They're asking us lambda molar. So once you know the value of alpha, we can find out lambda naught molar. So from Ka we found out the value of alpha because Ka is known as C alpha square. So alpha is equal to root of Ka into C, Ka by C. We simplified, we got the value 16.57. Option B. So 10th one is option B. Then next one, 11th one. Consider the reactions at 1100 degrees Celsius, 2C plus O2 giving rise to 2CO and 2Zn plus O2 giving rise to 2ZnO, and delta G naught values are given to us. Delta G naught values are given to us. Now based on this, select the correct alternative. Select the correct alternative. Let us take it as equation 1 and equation 2 now. Suppose if you do equation 2 minus equation 1, if you take equation 2 minus equation 1, we are going to get delta G value positive. Means reaction is non-spontaneous. If you do equation 1 minus equation 2, 1 minus equation 2, we are going to get delta G negative value. That reaction is going to be a spontaneous one. Let us now take equation 2 minus equation 1 then now. So equation 2 minus equation 1. So I am writing once again the equations which are given to us. That is equation 2 is zinc, because we have to do equation 1 minus equation 2. So I am writing 1 first, then equation 2 I will write. Equation 1 is 2C plus O2 giving rise to 2CO, and delta G is given as minus 460 delta G value. And equation 2, that is 2Zn plus O2 giving rise to 2ZnO, and its delta G value is given as minus 360. We are now doing equation 1 minus 2 is equation 1 here, equation 2 here. Equation 1 minus 2 means I am changing sign here. So therefore if we cancel, it will be 2C here plus 2Zn, O2 gets cancelled here, giving rise to 2CO minus 2 moles of ZnO, and delta G value will be positive value in this case now. So now if you see, dividing throughout by 2 and changing appropriately. So 2C plus 2ZnO giving rise to, it will be 2CO plus 2Zn. Implies for this process it is a positive, delta G is negative value here now. Means this reaction takes place. That implies carbon can be used as reducing agent for zinc oxide to get the zinc from that. So carbon can be used as a reducing agent to reduce zinc oxide to zinc. So answer must be option B. Zinc oxide can be reduced by carbon. Option B. So what we have done is we have subtracted equation 1 minus 2. We have taken this as 1 and this as 2 because 1 minus 2 gives a negative value of delta G, implies spontaneous reaction. 12th one. A current of 10 amperes flows for 2 hours through an electrolytic cell containing molten salt of metal X. This results in decomposition of 0.250 moles of metal X at cathode. The oxidation state of X in the molten salt is. So time is given, current strength is given to us, and moles of metal formed is also given to us. We need to find out oxidation state of the metal. Applying Faraday's laws, that is 10 amperes, 2 hours, deposits 0.25 moles of substance. So 10 amperes 2 hours means we can know the total amount of charge passed, because Q is equal to I into T, 10 into 2 into 60 into 60, deposits 0.25 moles. That is 72000, deposits 0.25 moles. So therefore 1 Faraday deposits how much? 1 Faraday, that is equal to 96,500 coulombs, deposits how much? Cross multiplying, that is 96500 into 0.25 by 72000. We get the value 0.335. So 335 moles. So many moles is equivalent to 1 gram equivalent, because when you are passing 96,500, we get 1 gram equivalent. So 0.335 moles is equal to 1 gram equivalent of the salt. Means 1 mole is equal to how many gram equivalents? So cross multiplying, we get 0.335, which is equal to 3. That implies 1 mole is equal to 3 gram equivalents. 1 mole is equal to 3 gram equivalents means valency must be equal to 3. So option is 3. Sorry, answer is 3. Option is C we have. So they are given us 10 amperes 2 hours. We found out the quantity of charge. So this much charge deposits 0.25 moles. Therefore 1 Faraday deposits how much? We got the value 0.335 moles. So 1 Faraday always deposits 1 gram equivalent. Therefore 0.335 mole is equal to 1 gram equivalent. 1 mole is how many gram equivalents? It became 3 here. So 1 mole 3 gram equivalents means nothing but valency must be equal to 3. So answer is option C. Next. The number of electrons required to deposit 6.35 grams of copper at cathode during electrolysis of aqueous solution of copper sulfate will be. They are given atomic mass of copper. Now here, total number of electrons required to deposit 6.35 grams of copper. Let us now apply again Faraday's laws here now. So we know that 1 mole of electron deposits, 1 mole of electrons deposit 1 gram equivalent. 1 gram equivalent. And 1 gram equivalent of copper means 63.5 by 2 grams. So for this many grams of copper to deposit, we require 1 mole of electrons now. Therefore, we require 6.35 grams. So 6.35 grams requires how many moles of electrons? So cross multiplying 6.35 into 1 by 63.5 by 2, that goes to top. So 0.2 moles you are getting now is equal to 0.2 moles. 0.2 will be 1 by 5. Answer is option C. So 1 mole of electrons deposit 1 gram equivalent, and 1 gram equivalent of copper means atomic mass by valency is 2. So this many grams, 1 mole, and we require 6.35 grams only. There were how many moles? So n by 5. 14th one. Hydrogen electrode is dipped in a solution of pH 3. The potential would be, so they have given pH value, asking us potential. From pH we can find out the concentration of H plus. Now 2 H plus plus 2 electrons. We are writing electrode reaction of hydrogen. So now here pH is given as 3. This implies H plus is given as 10 to the power of minus 3. 10 power minus 3. Now applying Nernst equation, E is equal to E naught plus 0.059 by 2 into log of hydrogen ion square. Hydrogen ion square, which is equal to E naught will be 0 for hydrogen electrode, 0.03 approximately. This can be taken as 2 gets cancelled in into 2 log of H plus. So log of H plus means 10 to the power of, we have minus 3 here now. So minus 3 log 10. So it is minus 3 log 10. These two and these two also can be cancelled here. So minus 3 log 10. So 0.03 into 2, 0.06, and 0.06 into minus 3 comes in. 0.06 into it is minus 3 log 10. Log 10 is 1, which is equal to minus 0.177. Minus 0.177, that is option B, 0.177. Once again, we have written first of all electrode reaction. Then E is applying Nernst equation, E is equal to E naught 0.059 by 2 into log of H plus square here. So therefore, E is equal to E naught is equal to 0. This value we approximated to 0.03, that is 0.06 we have taken by 3, and this 2 comes here. So 2 log 10 to the power of minus 3, because this is 10 to the power of minus 3 is given as hydrogen ion concentration. So multiplying these two we are getting 0.06 into minus 3, because log 10 is 1. So minus 0.177. Then, so option B, 15th one. The EMF of galvanic cell constituted electrodes Zn plus 2 Zn and copper plus 2 copper we have. Simple formula. So E is given by E naught of cathode minus E naught of anode we have, which is equal to, directly the values are given. Cathode value is given as 0.34 minus of minus it is anode is given as 0.76. It comes to 1.1. So answer is option B, 1.1 node. So direct formula, cathode minus anode potentials. So 1.1, answer is B. Today we will discuss questions from solutions and colligative properties. Now the first question, the osmotic pressure of 1 molar NaCl solution and urea will be in the ratio. So both are having same concentration, therefore it depends upon Van 't Hoff factor. For NaCl, Van 't Hoff factor I is equal to 2. For urea, the Van 't Hoff factor I is equal to 1. Therefore NaCl will have higher osmotic pressure. So let us see the option. They are comparing NaCl to urea. So NaCl must have more value. It is 2:1. So answer B. Excuse me. Then second one. An aqueous solution of 0.1 molar concentration of sucrose should have a freezing point of, they're asking us now freezing point depression. So delta TF is equal to Kf into molality, which is equal to Kf is given 1.86 into molality, 0.1 molar solution is given. That implies delta TF is equal to 0.186. Now the freezing point of solution will be 1.186 less than 0, means minus 0.186. So D is the answer, minus 0.186. Next, Negative deviation from Raoult's law is observed in which of the following binary mixtures? The negative deviation will be observed in the case of components having stronger attractive forces between the components. There should be stronger attractive forces. Now when you take, means you must have some dipole interactions. If you take acetone and chloroform, both are having dipole interactions. That is to say, acetone molecule CH3CO. I'm just writing for convenience the formula in this way. Chloroform HCCl. Between these two we have a stronger interactions now. So between the components of solution we have a stronger interaction that leads to negative deviation. So option is C. C is the answer. Next one. Which of the following statements is correct statement? Now the greater the lowering of vapor pressure, lower the boiling point. Not correct, it must have higher boiling point. Greater the lowering of vapor pressure, lower the freezing point of solution. This is true. So lower the vapor pressure means it will be lowering the freezing point of solution. At a freezing point, the solute and solvent will have same vapor pressure, which is not correct. Units of molar depression constant. Units will be Kelvin, kilogram and mole inverse we have. Units of, but not Kelvin per mole. So answer is greater the lowering of vapor pressure, lower the freezing point of solution. So option is B. So B is the answer. Then fifth one. The freezing point of solution of urea is minus 0.6. How much urea of molar mass 60 is required to dissolve in 3 kilograms of water? So freezing point depression is given here. We need to find out amount of solute to be added to get that freezing point depression. Now the formula delta TF is equal to Kf into molality. Delta TF decrease is given as 0.6 and Kf is given as 1.5 molality. So they're asking us how much of urea should be added. So let us suppose x grams is added by 60 into 1000 by mass of solvent. Mass of solvent is in 3 kilograms is given. So 3000. So therefore the value of x on simplification comes to 72. So 72 grams. Answer is option C. So direct substitution in the formula. So C is the answer. Then ice is kept in thermos flask and adding some amount of sodium salt, some common salt. What will happen? See, when ice melts, some amount of ice starts melting to dissolve the salt that is being added there now. Further, the ice as well as salt form freezing point, which is having a temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. This happens when you are adding some amount of salt. That is, some ice starts melting to dissolve the salt added. Remaining will form a freezing mixture and the mixture is going to have lesser than 0 degrees Celsius. So therefore answer must be ice will not increase, ice will be decreasing because some amount of ice dissolves, some amount of ice decreases so as to dissolve the common salt added to it. So option is B. So B is the answer. Then Van't factor I for 0.2 molar solution of urea. Urea will not dissociate or associate. Therefore, Van't factor will be equal to 1. So that is D option. No association, no dissociation. Therefore, Van't factor will be equal to 1. Then 0.1 molar NaCl, 0.1 molar acetic acid were found to have osmotic pressures P1, P2 respectively. Which of the following statement is correct? So the osmotic pressure depends upon value of I also. The Van't factor I is equal to 2 for NaCl and I is 1 for acetic acid. So therefore osmotic pressure pi is equal to I into C into RT we have. Both are having same concentrations here, but I value differs. I is 2 for NaCl. So for NaCl solution you have higher osmotic pressure. So P1 should be more than P2. So option A is correct. So that is option A. Then next one. What is the molarity of sulfuric acid having a density of 1.84 grams per cc containing 98% of sulfuric acid by 8? We have a direct formula for this. That is molarity is given as percentage density 10 by we have molar mass, which is equal to, so 98 percentage density 1.84 into 10, molar mass is 98 for sulfuric acid. It comes to 18.4. So answer is option C, 18.4. Formula is percentage into density into 10 by molar mass. 18.4. C is the answer. Next one. The molarity of NO3 minus ions in a solution after 2 liters 3 molar AgNO3 mixed with 3 liters 1 molar BaCl2 solution. We need to know the concentration of NO3 minus ions in entire solution. When you take the reaction between these two, say AgNO3 plus BaCl2, giving rise to, it forms AgCl precipitation plus BaNO3 taken twice. So this will be 2, this will be 2 then. Now number of moles of AgNO3 taken, 2 liters 3 moles. So 2 into 3, so 6 moles of AgNO3 is there. Number of moles of BaCl2, 3 into 1, so 3 moles of BaCl2 is there. So here 2 moles reacts with 1 mole, so therefore 6 can react with 3 moles. Number of moles of AgCl formed will be also 6 here. Number of moles of BaNO3 formed will be also 3 moles. 3 moles of BaNO3 will have altogether 6 moles of NO3 minus ions. So number of moles of NO3 minus is 6 moles here. 6 moles of NO3 minus ions are there. So by volume of entire solution, volume of entire solution is equal to 2 liters and then 3 liters here. Altogether we have 5 liters are there. So molarity concentration is equal to number of moles of NO3 minus ions by total volume, 6 by 5. It comes to 1.2. So answer is option A. 10th one is option A. Then 11th one. A solution contains 1.2 10 power 24 HCl molecules in 1 liter solution. What is the strength? So normalities are given answers here. But for HCl, molarity and normality are same because replaceability is only 1. The given number of molecules of HCl. Let us find number of moles of HCl present. So 1.2 10 to the power of 24 molecules are there. Divided by Avogadro's number 6.0 10 to the power of 23, we get number of moles of the particles we are going to get. This will be 2 moles. So 2 moles of HCl is there in 1 liter vessel. So molarity is equal to 2 by 1. Molarity and normality are same for HCl solution. Therefore, it is also equal to 2 normal. So 11th is 2 normal. That is option B. Then 12th one now. 0.2 moles HCl, 0.1 mole calcium chloride dissolved in water to have 500 ml of solution. Calculate molarity of Cl minus ions. Molarity of Cl minus ions. Now 0.2 mole of HCl. The 0.2 mole of HCl can give us 0.2 mole of Cl minus ions. So HCl is 0.2 moles. Therefore, HCl is 0.2 moles is given to us. Is 0.2 mole. This implies Cl minus ions is also equal to 0.2 moles from HCl contribution. CaCl2 is 0.1 mole. So concentration of CaCl2 moles are given as 0.1 mole. Implies Cl minus ions coming from this will be equal to 0.2 moles. So total number of moles of Cl minus ions 0.2 moles here and 0.2 moles here. Totally 0.4 moles are there. Number of moles of Cl minus is 0.4 moles. Then volume of solution is 500 ml dissolved in 0.5 liters now. So concentration we require, so 0.5 liters. So 4 by 5, which is equal to 0.8. So 0.8 molar of Cl minus ions we have. So number of moles of Cl minus divided by volume of solution. Then answer is option B. Then, which is not a colligative property? Freezing point is not colligative property. Delta TF is colligative property. Freezing point depression is a colligative property but not freezing point. So A is the answer. Then, two liquids X and Y form ideal solution. At 300 Kelvin, the vapor pressure of solution containing 1 mole of X, 3 moles of Y is 550. At same temperature, if 1 mole of Y is further added to this solution, the vapor pressure of solution increases by 10 mm. The vapor pressure of liquids X and Y in pure states means P0 X and P0 Y they are asking us now. Now let us take the Raoult's law here. That is to say, the basic formula which we know, P is equal to P0 A XA plus P0 B EXB we have. Initially total pressure is equal to 550, means 550 is equal to P0 of A. XA number of moles of A means first component is 1 mole of 1 by total number of moles 4 here now, plus P0 of B into mole fraction of second component will be 3 by 4, equation 1. Then when they are added 1 more mole of Y, the pressure increased by 10 mm. 1 more mole of Y means number of moles of X remains same as 1, but number of moles of Y is equal to 3 plus 1, 4 we have. So therefore new pressure is equal to 560 then. 560 is equal to P0 A into mole fraction of X is 1 by 5 plus P0 of B into this is equal to 4 by 5 we have. Equation number 2. So we need to solve equation 1 and then 2 to get the value of P0 A and then P0 B. On simplification we are going to get value as 400 and 600. So answers are 4 and 600. That is option is C we have. Then next one. 12 grams of urea dissolved in 1 liter, 68.4 grams of sucrose dissolved in 1 liter. The lowering of vapor pressure in first case is, lowering of pressure means P0 minus P value depends upon amount of solute added. That is number of moles which you are adding there. So number of moles of solute added. So more the moles you add, more the lowering takes place. So in the case of urea, number of moles will be 12 by 60. In the case of sucrose, number of moles will be 68.4 by 342. On simplification, both the values are coming as 0.2 and 0.2. Implies both are going to have same lowering of vapor pressure. So first case is also equal to that of second case, lowering of vapor pressure. So with this we have come to an end. Solving the questions from solutions and colligative property. Today we will discuss questions from solid state chemistry. First question, how many unit cells are there in 1 gram cube shaped ideal crystal of atomic mass 60, which is having NaCl type of structure? So 1 gram is the mass of the crystal given to us. Molar mass is 60 and is NaCl type of crystal. Now how many number of unit cells are there in that? Let us see the calculation part. For NaCl type, number of pairs are 4 pairs now. 4 pairs of ions are there per unit cell. 4 pairs of ions are there per unit cell. So therefore, molar mass of unit cell will be equal to 4 into molar mass of each pair is equal to 60. it comes to 4 pairs are there altogether, 240. So 240 is a molar mass of pair then. Now, number of moles of unit cells will be equal to mass by molar mass. Mass is 1, molar mass is 240. Now number of unit cells will be equal to moles, we got moles into Avogadro's number. So 1 by 240 into 6 into 10 to the power of 23, which is equal to. So here 6 means it goes by 4 times. 40 here, 1 by 4.25, 0.25 into 10 to the power of. So 23, 1 0 is there, it becomes 22. So 22 here now. It will then 2.5 10 to the power of 21 then now. 2.5 10 to the power of. So 2.5 10 to the power of 21. So answer is C option. 2.5 10 to the power of 21. The answer. Second question. An element with atomic mass 250 crystallizes in a simple cube. Simple cube stands for Z is equal to 1. If density of the unit cell is 7.2 grams per cc, what is the radius of the atom of the element? So simple cubic cell Z is given, density is also given to us, we have atomic mass, we need to find out the radius. For that we require edge length. Let us see, density is equal to Z into M by A cube into Na. Density is given 7.2 is equal to Z value is 1 into molar mass 250 by A cube, Avogadro's number, 6 into 10 to the power of 23 we have. Now A cube is equal to, it is 250 divided by 7.2 into Avogadro's number. This on simplification, it comes to, means A cube value. A cube value comes to 5.76 10 to the power of minus 23. So cube root of that, finally value of A is equal to 3.86 10 to the power of minus 8. And we require radius, simple cube, so therefore atoms touch along the edge length, therefore radius will be equal to A by 2, implies 3.86 10 to the power of minus 8 by 2. It comes to 1.93 10 to the power of minus 8. So answer B, 1.93 10 to the power of minus 8. 1.93 10 to the power of minus 8. Next one. Which of the following is ferrite? These are the formulas to remember. So ferrite is option B we have. MgFe2O4, ferrite. Next. Ca plus 2 F minus are located in CaF2 crystal, respectively at face-centered cubic lattice points and in. So Ca plus 2 is occupying FCC. Ca plus 2 forms FCC, means it occupies corner as well as face center. So F minus ions will be occupying tetrahedral voids, and all the tetrahedral voids are occupied in this structure in CaF2. So therefore all tetrahedral voids are occupied by F minus ions. So answer is option A. Then the density of KBr is 2.75 grams per cc. The length of unit cell Length of unit cell is 654 pm. Atomic mass of K and Br are given. Then the solid is. What type of solid? Means we need to find out the value of Z here now. Let us substitute the formula for density. So density D is equal to Z into M by A cube into Na. So in this we need to find out the value of Z. So density is given as 2.75. So 2.75 is equal to Z is unknown to us. Molar mass KBr. So K and then Br. KBr mass. So summation of those two comes to 119, adding those two, divided by A cube. Edge length is given there 654. So 654 is in pm. We require in centimeters because density is coming out to be grams per cc. Whole cube into Avogadro's number 10 to the power of 23. So it must be simplified further to get the value of Z. So therefore Z comes to be close to 3.9 in the calculations, nearly equal to 4. Z is for the property of face-centered cubic form. So face-centered cube, answer is A. So we have substituted the data in the density formula. Got value A is the answer. So face-centered cubic structure. Then the salt AB crystallizes in the CaCl structure. The anions at the corners, the cation in the center. Radius ratio. CaCl will be body-centered cubic structure. And for body-centered cubic structure, the radius ratio of radius of cation to radius of anion will be ranging from 0.732 to 0.99. So that is AB stands for body-centered cubic structure. And for body-centered cubic structure, radius of cation to anion is this value. So answer is option D. So sixth one, option D. Then, if the unit cell length of sodium chloride is crystal is 600 pm, then density. It's a direct question. So density D is equal to Z into M by A cube Na. Z is equal to total number of ion pairs will be 4 in NaCl type of crystal, 4 into. Molar mass of each ion pair is 58.5 and value of A cube. They gave the value of A 600 10 to the power of minus 10 the whole cube into Avogadro's number 6 into 10 to the power of 23. This on simplification finally you are going to get the value as 0.18 10 to the power of 1, which is equal to 1.8 then. So 1.8, you can take 1.79 close to that. So answer C. C is the answer. Next, what is the coordination number of sodium in Na2O? Sodium in Na2O. In Na2O structure, O minus 2 it forms FCC unit, and then Na plus ions occupy all tetrahedral voids. All tetrahedral voids are occupied. So Na plus will be in tetrahedral void, means coordination number is 4 for tetrahedral void. So coordination number is 4 for tetrahedral void. Then the hardest substance among the following is, hardest one is silicon carbide. In silicon as well as carbon, both are tetravalent, both are bonded to each other, to tetrahedrally bonded to each other, and it is the next to diamond. It is having diamond type of structure. So most hard substance among the given options. So option D, silicon carbide. Then KBr shows Schottky type of defects. The first group metal halides show Schottky type of defects. So option is B. Option B. Then 11th one, among the following the compound with the lowest lattice energy. Lowest lattice energy means internuclear interionic distance must be maximum. Therefore CSF is having, because of large size of CS plus, we have maximum interionic distance. Therefore it is having lowest lattice enthalpy. So CSEF has the lowest lattice enthalpy. Then 12th one, pure silicon and germanium are insulators. Only after doping they act as semiconductors. Without doping they are insulators. So answer is insulators. Then electron trapped in anion site in the crystal is called F center, and they are responsible for color. F center. So answer is F center, option A. Then in ferromagnetic material, all magnetic moment vectors are aligned in one direction. This is a property of ferromagnetic material. All magnetic moment vectors are aligned in one direction. So A itself is the correct answer. So A is the answer for this. Then, which of the following metal oxide is anti-ferromagnetic substance? These examples we need to remember. So MnVote is an example of anti-ferromagnetic substance. This we have done questions from solid state chemistry.